Against the Ropes podcast.
Contra las cuerdas.
Against the Ropes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here alongside Christian Mosqueda. 242, I believe, 242. Podcast number 242. We're back. Some more action, man. Look, we've been talking about all year, all these great fights. We still have a lot of action to go. This month, we got a few fights, of course. The month is almost over. And it looks like the last quarter, really, up until the end of December, is going to look real good. So, back for another episode. Chris?
Back for another one, Gio. And this weekend, it tackled I want to see the boogeyman of boxing, the guys that are probably some of the most dangerous guys in boxing that not many people want to fight. Some of those guys that people don't want to get on the bandwagon just yet, but man, they delivered, Gio. So let's start with that. Who do you want to start with, Gio?
Yeah, man, we had some good action last Saturday. We've been spoiled lately. You know, we did have some action on Showtime. Of course, you guys heard the news. We'll get into that in a little bit about Showtime, boxing in specific. But, you know, let's start with the boogeyman at 160, Chris. Janibek Alimkhanuly. Once again, looking good. Once again, another stoppage. You know, he's a tough southpaw. He can box. He can punch. He's going to have trouble getting fights, man.
Yeah, no, like you said, he's the boogeyman. Not too many people know him, but, man, you saw the destructive force that he is. He was just dominated his opponent. I didn't really know who his opponent was, and I obviously still don't know who he was based on what Janibek did, but he stopped them in great fashion. You know, he was predicting a knockout. He delivered. Again, this is the triple G of modern time, without the charisma, in my opinion. But hey, he does it all inside the ring. So impressive stoppage. People need to really start paying attention to who this guy is before he crosses over. But again, a great performance by Janibek.
Yeah, man, look, 6 rounds. It's all it took against Vincenzo Gualtieri, who was undefeated, but as you guys saw, clearly outclassed. He wasn't a guy who had a ton of power. So, you know, I think most of us predicted this result. It's going to be very tough to beat Janibek. I think his last real competitive fight was against Bentley, I believe, the British fighter. I think the fight was actually here in the States, too. You know, power puncher. He made it difficult for Janibek, but you know, like I said, it's going to be very tough. You know, 160, obviously, Charlo is a champion there. Dude hasn't fought in nearly 3 years. He's going to be back on that Benavides undercard against Bubu Andrade. He's supposed to fight Jose Benavidez, guy who's not even at 160. But, when you look at Janibek, I think he is the champion at 160. He's now unified. And, when you try to look at guys who might make it competitive against him, I'm not sure if Munguia is going to fight at 160 or 168, but I think that would be an exciting fight. I don't think anyone at this point against Janibek at 160.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Munguias haven't fought this guy. There's a reason why the Charlos haven't fought. They just, they just don't want to fight him. Again, the rankings are there. These are fights that should be made, but politics gets in the way. They find a way to, like you mentioned, go on hiatus for two plus years. That's where the fans really start to take favor in guys like Janibek, and then you start to criticize guys like Charlo, guys like Munguia, who have a bigger name, but they don't fight these kinds of fights, and that's why you hear the criticism from the Canelos that hey, they haven't fought nobody, like and it's true. So again, Janibek is fighting and stopping anybody that gets in his way. Would I like to see a Munguia, a Charlo fight down the road, of course, but I don't know if it happens, Gio. Do you if you're Janibek, who do you try to face next?
Anybody who would want to get in there with him, man. I don't see the fight with Munguia happening either. It seems like Munguia / Golden Boy / the Zone have other plans. There's different rumors about a Berlanga fight, maybe a Canelo fight, maybe. I'm not sure they even entertain Janibek, but I'm not sure there's a lot of big names there at 60 at the moment for Janibek. If I'm him, of course, I try to take that belt from Charlo, that third strap. But I don't think a lot of these fights are likely. We'll see where Showtime lands. Where PBC lands. It's not going to be Showtime. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, I just see very, very difficult for Janibek to get a big fight. At this stage, he looks good. Big Bro says he'll have to, let's see, he says Janibek needs to fight somebody better to show how good he really is. Jesus says Janibek versus Adames now, ASAP. And then he says he can see him beating Janibek in a close bout. So, I think we still haven't seen how good he is because of his opponents, but I think he's the real deal. He now got a new trainer too. He's not even with Buddy McGirt anymore. But we'll see, man. We'll see. It's gonna be very, very tough. I'm glad he's headlining. Kind of surprising because he doesn't have many fights. He doesn't have the biggest name, but I'm glad he's making a lot of noise, man. And we want to see knockouts at the end of the day, and he's doing just that. He's outclassing his opponents, but he might have to even go to 168 to get something big.
Yeah, and I said it. He reminds me a little bit of Triple G, Gio. What do you think is the biggest difference? Why was Triple G able to kind of cross over with the audiences? Why is Janibek not? Why hasn't he been able to do it to this point, in your opinion?
Well, he threw in a little bit of Spanish. He marketed the Mexican style, when he was fighting under Abel Sanchez. Obviously, it helped. He was knocking everybody out. That always helps. He was fighting on HBO for the most part. I think all those reasons, really. I think he tapped into the Hispanic, specifically Mexican fan base, and they got behind him. And he was very good. I would say just marketing. From the nickname Triple G to the entrance to the signature knockouts. They did things well over there. Tom Loeffler, and I think Janibek is going to need to just continue to get knockouts for him to become a little more mainstream or quote unquote crossover, like you said.
So if you had to get some tips, you would say get a short nickname, Janny, something short. Get a Mexican trainer, right? Get a well-known Mexican trainer. Get in front of the camera a lot. Continue doing what he's doing, which is knocking guys out. What else? What other corners should we throw down Janibek's way, Gio?
I don't know. I don't know about that Jenny nickname. I don't know how I feel about that one. His last name is definitely hard to say, so
For real.
everyone just calls him by his first name, which is not bad. Everyone knows him as Janibek, but Big Bro says no comparison. G had real boogeyman power along with great jab and chin. And Jesus says Brian Viloria, good coach for Janibek. Big Bro also adds Munguia and Charlo not trying to prove they are the best in the division. Unfortunately, yeah, so that doesn't help. We might never even get those unification bouts, for Janibek. But, I don't want to spend too much time on him. I do like him. I think he's entertaining. There's always a big possibility of a knockout when he fights. But not sure how exciting will be about his upcoming fights simply because guys don't want to fight a guy like Janibek. High risk, low reward.
Yeah. All right. With that said, Gio, let's turn on to the other mini boogeyman of the 154 division, Tszyu.
All right, look, Chris. Before we get there, there was a great undercard. Chris, let's not skip over the great undercard. The whole card was really good. Honestly, if it wasn't for the whole card, I probably wouldn't have tuned in. I did have ESPN on, and I did have Showtime on the computer. So, I did want to catch the undercard. Let me get Keyshawn Davis out the way first because it was a boring decision, in my opinion. He did what he had to, Still undefeated. There's a lot of hype around him, but I don't know. He's a good boxer, just not the most entertaining guy. Richard Torres, heavyweight, got another stoppage. He's another guy who will likely step up in competition. He's been knocking everybody out. He's looking good. Good southpaw boxer, puncher, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure they're going to keep him busy, but probably next year is when he'll start. At the end of next year, probably he'll start stepping up in competition. As of now, he's knocking everybody out. But I did want to talk about our guy, Alan Garcia, who got a victory, dominant, unanimous decision. Chris, what did you think about the new, I think it's new, I haven't seen it before from other networks, the new technology that they used, or production, whatever you want to call it. But basically they had the cameras on the two trainers and the mics, and we didn't hear the commentators. They basically, all the audio was coming straight from the coaches and from the fighters themselves. Obviously, we're biased, so we liked it. Coach G, we got to hear all the great instruction. Obviously, the ESPN commentators were impressed. They said she knows her boxing. We posted that clip of Timmy Bradley, giving Coach G her props, saying she knew what she was talking about. They were very impressed. But what did you think of that overall, just having the mics and cameras on the coaches and not on the commentators?
I thought that was really cool, man. I honestly, I'm a big fan of Tim Bradley's commentary. I know not everybody is.
You're joking,
but
Chris.
I thought it was cool. It was a little different. You were able to hear the instructions from Coach G, like blow by blow, play by play. I thought that was awesome. It kind of shows you like the inside of her brain. It kind of shows you exactly what the plan is, what she wants her fighter to do, to the T. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think if they do that, that mixes it up. You're able to, again, be kind of like a little camera and then that corner. You're able to see the game plan unfold as the fight materializes. So I thought that was a cool little aspect that ESPN threw out. And, sometimes we're the biggest criticism of ESPN, Top Rank, all that. But for this one, I'm going to give him a W. I thought it was cool.
I agree 100%. It was cool to see. Big Bro saying, I heard Timmy was cheerleading Keyshawn badly. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'd much rather hear the coaches, especially if it's someone that we know. Coach G did a great job. Alan did a great job. They dominated that fight, won pretty much every round, stayed undefeated, 10-0 now, 8 knockouts. They got their chance to shine on ESPN, and hopefully we see them again, because I feel like they show what they're about. They put the world on notice. Alan is going to be a name at 135 that people should keep an eye on. A good division. There's a lot of upcoming talent, including Keyshawn Davis. Obviously, guys like Raymond Murataya, That's a very good division. They want to always talk about, the top guys, right? But, right below them are the guys who are coming up. And I feel like they're going to give us even more exciting fights, because the guys at 135, they're not necessarily fighting each other. Some of them have moved up, to 140. So, this is a very interesting division. Glad our good friend of the show, Alan Garcia, got a chance to shine. Kid Kansas, shout out to him. Shout out to the whole team. They did a great job, and hopefully we see more of them on ESPN/Top Rank.
Yeah, and like you said, Gio, these are those fights that put you in the vicinity of all those fighters that, if they don't see you on TV, they don't see you, they're not gonna call you. I think this kinds of fights, it puts you on the map for guys in the top 20 to be like, okay, see that kid, he's a good fighter. I might give him a chance at this fight. We're gonna make some good money. It only helps, man. It only helps to have more exposure, to be known by the public, for the promoters, for the powers that be, to see you, to be like, I like that kid. I'm gonna bring him back, and that's how you build up. So shout out to Alan for doing his job. Shout out to Coach G for doing a superb job there coaching. We know it's a tough sport, male dominated, but she's hanging in there, doing her own. It's not something that just happened from one day to another. She's been doing it for years. So can't wait to see what she does next. Again, just having the camera on the corner, it's going to be more entertaining for the fans. If you have a Mexican coach, you're going to be hearing the instructions in Spanish. You're going to be hearing, you're going to be hearing a bunch of stuff. So I'm for it.
Is there a shout out to Mo Boxing? No problem. He says, salute, champ. Salute to you. Thank you for tuning in. Big Bro says it's a good thing to switch things up, especially with them Disney employees being biased most of the time. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'd rather listen to the coaches than, the cheerleaders, Tim Bradley and Bernie. Hey, we like them, Chris. You started with, I'm a big fan of Timmy's commentary. I don't know if that was honest or not, but, the ESPN crew is entertaining, but sometimes they do too much, man. Sometimes they're a little too biased, so I didn't mind really the camera and mic on the coaches throughout that fight. It was interesting to hear, interesting to see, and it's interesting to see how our good friend Coach G, guided, Alan through that fight. She was telling him all the right things, and it all worked out. It was a great game plan. They look good, and like I said, hopefully we get to see them more there on ESPN.
And Gio, sometimes in big fights, you want to hear what the corner's saying, and sometimes the mic cuts to to no sound, and you're just kind of left there what is he saying? What are they saying? So again, this reminds me of those moments where I want to hear what they're saying. I want to know how they're gonna react next round, et cetera, et cetera. So again, I hope this kind of carries over to the bigger networks, the bigger fights. That's something that I'm looking forward to.
100%. A lot of times we just get to hear those things on the All Access, Epilogue, and stuff like that after the fact, But it was cool to see throughout the fight. But yeah, overall, that was a good card. That went down in Texas. Of course, headlined by Janibek Alimkhanuly, who remains undefeated, remains champion, now unified at 160. And that was Top Rank ESPN. Of course, Chris, we had that other fight, more action from down under Australia. It was Sunday morning for them. We're lucky over here. They accommodate for us in the States. Yeah. Evening for us. I believe the fight started around 9 p.m. over here, Pacific time, to be specific. But very good fight. I believe I did catch some of the undercards, but nothing that stood out really to me. Went straight to the main event. Of course, Tszyu against Brian Mendoza. Now, Jesus had a hot take. Before we get started, Chris, give me your thoughts on Tszyu's performance. Unanimous decision in Australia. He says he's going to Vegas now.
Yeah, for me, Tszyu has that one thing that will carry you throughout boxing for a while, and that's power. He's got a couple flaws here and there, but that power, that come forward attack, we seen fighters like the Pacquiaos, that power it's going to take you far. and that's exactly what it did in this fight. He just pretty much, I don't want to say dominated, but yeah, he controlled most of this fight, if not the entirety of this fight. And again, it's going to take, another level, another gear of another fighter to really test him. So thoroughly impressed with Tszyu. He got that from his daddy, man. That power just went down in his genes, and he's impressive. It's still not a finished product, which tells me, man, like this guy's a scary dude.
Yeah, 100%. So Jesus says I scored at a draw.
What?
1 through 4, 6, and 12 for Mendoza. We definitely didn't watch the same fight. Chris, you didn't want to say he dominated, but he dominated this fight. He beat Brian Mendoza. I did read some comments of people saying that the fight was closer than the judges had it. I strongly disagree. Tszyu dominated from round 1 through round 12. Put a beating on Mendoza, really. He didn't get knocked out because, let me tell you this, he has one of the best chins in boxing right now, Brian Mendoza. The shots that he took, he got wobbled a couple times in the fight, but the shots that he took them well. He survived. He was beat up at the end of the fight. At times, it looked like they were going to stop it. He did enough to go 12, but yeah, I thought it was dominant by Tszyu. And let me tell you, Tszyu is the real deal, man. I think this fight proved it. I think this was his toughest fight. He made easy work of a Tony Harrison in his last fight. Tony Harrison, I believe, a little past his prime. He's not the Tony Harrison that defeated Charlo and was beating him again in the second fight. But he's still a tough opponent. No one had really dominated him like that. Like I said, even when he lost by stoppage against Charlo, he was winning that fight. But this was complete dominance. Tszyu looking good. Defense even getting better. Impressive, really. We talk about, and we mentioned it last week, how difficult it is for the son of a legend to make a name for himself, gain the respect of the fans, and kind of create their own journey. That's exactly what Tszyu's doing. And now he's saying, look, catch you in Vegas. He told his fans, I hope you guys can all go with me. He's looking for big fights. He's looking for fights in the States now. And very interesting fighter. Strong, power puncher, good chin. I'm liking Tszyu more and more. But yeah, this was complete dominance. If you say otherwise, please watch the fight again. I'm surprised Mendoza survived all 12 rounds.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys that I try to keep an eye on those upsets. I try to keep an eye on, like, this one might be it. This one might, and I was like, maybe this one could possibly be. I was like, Mendoza's coming off, like, great wins over Rosario, over the Towering Inferno. I was like, he's coming with some momentum, and he truly believes in himself. More experience than Tszyu, probably more in his prime than Tszyu. So I was like, this one could be a slight upset. I don't know. But no, Tszyu took it to him. And again, it was a power difference. Like you said, I give Brian Mendoza props for having one of the best chins in boxing. I like watching this fight. I almost put him up there with Canelo, with Triple G, with those guys that have like just iron chins and a poker face where you know that he's hurt, but he just keeps going. He shakes it off and he continues. He doesn't fold under pressure. He doesn't, take a knee, none of that. He's never been knocked down. So I was like, I was impressed with him, even in defeat. But yeah, like you said, Tszyu just has that power, just has that poise. And in my opinion, he can still improve in certain areas. So yeah, this, again, a thorough win by Tszyu. He's making his own legacy.
116, 111, 116, 112, 117, 111 for Tszyu. At the end of the day, wasn't close. None of the judges thought it was close. I'd say 99% of people didn't think it was close. And if I remember correctly, I did say that I thought Tim could get the stoppage toward the end of the fight, or like round 9 or something, if I remember correctly. But let me tell you, Mendoza, tough guy, like you said. He wasn't going anywhere. He was going to continue fighting. Much respect to him. He went all the way to Australia, challenge for that title. Initially, of course, Tszyu didn't have that title. He had the interim or whatever they call it. He got upgraded, when Charlo fought Canelo, 154 Charlo. So Tim Tszyu got upgraded to that, defended his belt, quote unquote. And, you know, he looks good. He looks like a champion. I like to see a guy like Brian Mendoza against a guy like Brian Castaño. I think that would be fireworks. Both guys coming off a loss. Both guys very, very tough, rugged, come forward. You know, I like to see something like that. But Tim Tszyu, of course, you know, there's some big fights out there for him at 154, and we'll see what he can get as he comes down here to the States. Not sure Jermell jumps into another big fight right after Canelo. Might take a little tune-up or something, stay busy fight. But look, I'm liking Tim Tszyu. I really am. He's an exciting fighter. We always talk about guys who we like to watch who are exciting. I think Tim Tszyu, to me, is top 5 in that regard. Exciting fighter. You know, it's must watch. You know, and just to kind of put that into context, when Amir Khan was active, I had him in my top 5 of must watch because he can either knock someone out or get knocked out. So that's what I mean by, you know, exciting fighters, exciting fights. I think Tim Tszyu gives us exciting fights, and I'll be for sure tuned into his next fight. Probably won't be on Showtime, you know, but I'm still, you know, excited to watch his next fight.
Yeah, for me, obviously, we had criticisms of Devin Haney when he got upgraded, when he got that email, you know, upgrade. And even though I know Tim Tszyu is the goods, I know I still was like, hey, I got to see a fight like this one, like a Mendoza, to give him like his true due, you know, his true credit. And this one kind of like, you know, pushed him up a little bit. I still want to see him against a Charlo so I could be like, all right. Just the same way I kind of, you know, took off the asterisk off of Devin Haney when he fought Loma. I know you still feel divided with that decision. For me, just the fact that he took that fight, Devin Haney, I was like, all right, I'll get rid of that email asterisk. You're a champ for taking that fight, and in my opinion, winning that fight. I feel like it's the same thing with Tim Tszyu. I know he's got the goods. I want to see him, you know, fully in a true fight with a guy like a Charlo and those guys, the name guys, the ones that are on the top. So I can really be like, okay, this guy's a true champion now. I know he's on his way. You know, I just want you know the fight to catch up to who he is.
100%. It's crazy how much he looks like his dad too. I was watching some of the clips of his dad against Zab Judah. He looks just like his dad. But you know, we'll see what's next, man. We'll see what's next for Tim Tszyu. He's an exciting guy. It seems like he always has the right thing to say. He always has something good to say to hype up the crowd, even post fight. During those interviews, he called out Charlo. You know, so he's doing things right, man. He's a marketable guy, and we'll see what they come up next for Tim Tszyu. Like I said, just an exciting fighter, and we like to see that in boxing, man. We like to see the overall show, not just good performances in the ring. When they give you the mic, you know, the guy knows what to say, so that's always a plus. I'm sure that earns him a few extra dollars, man, just for the fact of being entertainment. People want to watch him fight, and I know I for sure want to watch his next fight. But yeah, that's Tim Tszyu. He fought in Australia. Now he's saying, I'm going to the States, going to Vegas, trying to get a big fight. Like we said, not on Showtime. It's probably a good transition into that, Chris. I'm not sure. First of all, let's get your final thoughts on Tim Tszyu, and then the news of Showtime after 37 years of broadcasting boxing. They'll be out of the game, just like HBO.
Yeah, no, final thoughts on Tim Tszyu. He's top 5 must watch. I agree with you. If anybody needs to watch a fight and see something, you know, in the process of becoming special, it's a Tim Tszyu fight. So that's my thoughts on that. Before we transition, Joe, I got to ask, because you did say something that I do believe. Yeah, he looks exactly like his dad. So I'm going to pose a quick question. Who would you rather see rock their dad's hairdo? Tim Tszyu bring back the
I know where you're going with this.
Mullet,
I know where you're going with this.
Andrew Vargas Jr. bring back the copetito.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. Let me tell you. Oh, man, that's a great question, because I was thinking about that. I was like, Tim Tszyu should get this little rat tail that his dad used to rock.
Bring it back.
He should rock it. But I haven't seen that Fernando blonde Copete in a long time. That would be crazy. That would be crazy, but I think I'm going to go with the rat tail.
That's it. Okay.
You?
I think, yeah, that's cool. I want to see one of the Vargas Juniors, the Copetito, the little blonde. Just because I feel like I grew up more with that, seeing that. So,
Yeah.
and they've been hinting at bringing it back, for the next fight. We'll see, man. Hopefully, they do that over there with the Vargas dynasty. But
You know why I say that? I just think that when you see a guy just buzz cut with a rat tail, I don't want to fight that guy, man. I'll make sure if I walk by him, I don't step on his shoes. I don't look at him. A guy with the little blonde copete, I might could get away with some stuff, but that rat tail, I'm not messing with that guy, man.
Or like if that guy could walk out of the house with that kind of hairstyle, he don't got no regard for human life. So, all right, cool. We'll see. We'll come back to this clip and see if one of those two makes it happen. I think Vargas Jr. does it before Tszyu. I think Tszyu likes his due.
100%. Yeah. So, Chris, thoughts on, of course, Showtime?
Yeah, I know some people say it's not shocking. They saw it coming. I'm not gonna lie. I was seeing their lineup this year, and I thought that was like, okay, they're getting money, they're pumping back in. Again, it was one of their best calendar years, and maybe they did it because they knew that they had to go out with a bang or whatever they knew behind closed doors. But I was a little shocking to me. I'm not gonna lie. I was really liking this banner year for them, and I thought they were gonna continue. But a little shocking for me, Joe. What about you?
Yeah, 37 years, man. 37 years. But yeah, I agree. I think, we had heard some stuff from people in the boxing world saying, hey, man, those guys don't have any money. They're running out quick. They're probably not going to be around for much longer. But, when you look at the year, this has been one of the best boxing years that I could remember in a long, long time. Of course, we'd have to go down the list and see what fights happened in what years, but can't remember the last time we were actually excited. Literally every month we've been getting something great. A fight that we've been asking for essentially every single month of this year. And, it's still not over and we're still getting big fights. So, yeah, I'm surprised. But we'll see where PBC lands. I know there's a lot of rumors about Amazon Prime. So that would be interesting. But yeah, I think once we actually realize, once it kicks in that Showtime is no longer doing boxing, I think just like HBO, it was shocking. There was a lot of sad people. You wonder where the commentators and everyone else is going to land. HBO had a great crew over there. Since we haven't really seen much from them. Obviously, Max is like on ESPN or was. I'm not sure if he still is. But, yeah, I think once it actually settles and you realize, man, no more Showtime, no more Showtime boxing, it's going to be a sad and shocking, 37 years, Chris. We're not that old, They've been broadcasting boxing since before we were born. So I don't think it has kicked in for me yet. But yeah, it's crazy to even think about. No more Showtime, no more HBO.
Yeah, the thing that sucks about like adjusting to a world without Showtime and HBO is the production value that they brought. They just had the resources, they had the talent, they had the best cameras, they had the best storytellers, the best writers, etc. And I think after HBO, you start seeing like other platforms like the Zone try to pick up the space left over, the vacuum, and we saw it wasn't as good. Obviously, they're just starting. The low green kind of start missing like the good production value. So I think that's gonna happen for like a couple months, maybe a year removed until we start seeing other platforms really start getting their rhythm going, their momentum going, getting that production value up. I'm hoping they take some notes from HBO, from Showtime, and take the good stuff with them. people were just talking about Jim Lantley probably coming back, and so like, now this is another blow to boxing. But I don't know if you saw the tweet that Ryan Garcia, Terrence Crawford, put out, Gio.
Yep, I did catch that.
What were your thoughts on that?
I don't know if you have it there or if you want to pull it up, but basically, Terrence Crawford agreed with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, I don't want to butcher what he said, but from what I took from it is that boxers got to step up. They got to promote their brands, take things into their own hands, essentially, and Crawford agreed, and Chris will go ahead and read it in a bit. Let me know when you have it, but yeah, you have it there?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Right. I was about to say, today is a really important day for boxing. HBO and Showtime defined our sport for a generation, and now they are both out. All of us boxers need to make our collective fight. We got to be thinking about marketing, new audiences, investors, global, all of it. Boxing is still the greatest sport in the world. We just got to reimagine it. And for me, Joe, I don't think there's a better person than Ryan Garcia to come out and say this. I mean, he doesn't have to do it, but he knows what his marketing power is. He took on a fight that a lot of people didn't think he was going to take. He didn't protect his though. You can tell he's really there for the fans. There are fighters that are just fight once a year, once every 2 years. We know who they are. We're not going to say their names. But I think Ryan doesn't see himself being in the sport for the long term, so he wants to kind of give the fans what he can while he is in his physical prime. So, I commend him not just for taking that fight with Tank, but for saying a statement like this, and Terrence Bud Crawford, acknowledging that and agreeing with that. So again, it's true. They do have to find creative ways to still keep boxing, where it should be. Again, it's one of the most brutal sports, but there's a reason why millions of people, will tune in and see a fight. And then again, the powers that be, whoever decides to take on boxing next, they just got to get creative and find ways to put this product in front of people. So.
Yeah, like I agree. I think he's the right guy to speak up. I think what I take from this is, man, they don't make them like they used to, man. We used to see great shows on HBO, on Showtime. Now we got all these streaming services. To me, honestly, ESPN right now is the leader with Showtime out the door. ESPN is still, putting up good quality undercards, even dabbling with different things. Like we said, they had the mics and cameras on the corners instead of the commentators. So we got to listen to that during the fight. The zone, sometimes you see freaking spelling errors on there. They're supposed to be, professional company with professional writers and professional people editing their stuff. Sometimes you see some typos in their graphics on the screens. I think the production-wise, you see something new every single time with the zone, as far as like errors and stuff like that. It's getting more expensive. Price is probably going to go up soon, I'm assuming. I don't know how they're doing over there, but without Canelo especially. And then we'll see where Showtime lands, man. But yeah, they don't make them like they used to anymore, man. I feel like the quality of really everything has gone down, just in general. Everything gets more expensive and cheaper, you can say. The product is cheaper and you got to pay more for it. So we'll see, man. I think this is something to worry about, honestly. But PBC, I'm sure will get a big deal wherever they land. They still got some big names, some big fights. I'm sure they're going to use Canelo's name to try to leverage something. He has 2 more fights with them, so I'm sure, just like when the Zone signed him, they're trying to deliver big fights for the Zone. I'm sure their PBC is going to use Canelo's name, and we'll see, man. I wouldn't mind it in Amazon Prime, honestly, but yeah, I think you got to be worried because it's the best year in boxing in a long time, and even with that, the network says we don't want to re-sign with these guys and we don't want to broadcast boxing anymore. I don't think they're doing any sports, but yeah, we'll see. Boxing will be fine, but I feel like
Yeah.
boxers just got to step it up, like Ryan said. You know, we just had some YouTubers fighting. I think they threw out a number of 1.3 million. I don't think that's accurate, but who am I to say? You know, like at the end of the day, you have these YouTubers who are selling pay-per-views, who are selling tickets. You boxers got to step it up, man. Find a way not to be boring. You know, as harsh as that sounds, most of these guys are boring. When they do interviews, they're not entertaining. You go on their Instagram, it's not the greatest. They don't have YouTube channels. They don't market themselves. They don't have a brand, you know, so it's very difficult. I'm not shocked at all that YouTubers are making all this money off of boxing because at the end of the day, they understand the game is entertainment. You know, these guys, they want to be professional athletes. They want to be professional boxers and all that. But at the end of the day, you got to look at why sports were created to begin with. You know, it's all entertainment. It's all entertainment. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that's one of them. Obviously, they're gonna have to figure out, you know, a variety of things, but entertainment is one of them. I'll give an example. Terrence Crawford. I know that we used to criticize him like he can't fill out seats, he can't do this, can't do that. He was a very quiet guy. You know, he was a very quiet guy up until this fight. Now he's on Twitter. He's talking more than he ever used to, and I'm here for it. I like that. I like a little bit of that trash talking, a lot of that, a little bit of that Mayorga type kind of entertaining. So again, fighters, whether it's trash talking, whether it's, you know, finding ways to entertain, you gotta spice things up. So again, it's a thing they're gonna have to figure out in the next, you know, 12 months. It almost felt with this year, Gio, like boxing was winning all the rounds up until the 10th round. We got a gut check, took a knee. Obviously, like you said, the sport's going to continue. They'll find ways to innovate. But, you know, you stand up and you keep going. So we'll see what happens in the next 12 months. There's still a lot of action. It's just about, you know, where you're going to put these fights. But, yeah, again, the fighters have to do their part, and one of them is entertainment.
Yeah, and look, use Canelo as an example. What did Canelo do that was special? I mean, what did Canelo do that was so different from everybody else? Chris, I think you can answer. I think you can answer that.
To me, winning, learn English, talk some shit. Like that's
that. When he was 20 years old, what was he doing?
When he was 20, he fought the best.
He's fighting top opposition. This guy had zero amateur experience. He had like 15. What they say, like, I don't know how many fights. It wasn't many amateur fights. You know, a lot of people think, oh, I gotta be signed to one of these big companies to make it. Canelo started from nothing. You know, once he got signed, you know, of course people were gonna say, oh, well, he had a big machine behind him. He had Golden Boy. Well, how many fighters fight under Golden Boy? It's a lot of fighters. A lot of fighters under top rank. You know, a lot of fighters under these big machines. You know, what he did, it wasn't rocket science. He just got really good at boxing, beat some veteran guys when he was 20, 21, 22. Probably had the biggest fight of his life at 23 with Mayweather, you know. Mm-hmm. And then after that, continued to get better and beat everybody else. You know, he faced the best. You know, people want to make excuses and say, oh, it was given to him, you know, this and that. People call him paper champion. Chris, he earned it. At the end of the day, he fought all the guys. He fought freaking Islandi Lara when Oscar De La Hoya told him not to do it. He got 1.2 guaranteed for that fight. When you're fighting a guy like that, you should be getting like 10, 15 million. He was still young. He didn't care. He took the fight because he fought for his legacy. And now he's getting 50 million regardless of who he fights. So I don't think it's rocket science. I think guys want to protect their O. I think guys want to take it easy, want to, you know, analyze who they're fighting and see what their best chances are. You know, obviously you got to be really good, you know, because Ryan Garcia took a risk and got stopped. You know, not sure if that's great for his career, but I'm sure he got the biggest payday. He got more followers, more attention and stuff like that. But, you know, I think it goes hand in hand. You got to fight the best, but you also got to be great at what you do. You know, and in this era, there aren't many fighters who are doing that. 99% of them are taking it easy, and that's not going to earn you a big paycheck. What people want to see is big fights, good fights, and that's what people respect, man. I don't think it's that difficult. I don't think it's that difficult to understand that. You know, when you have guys like Terrence Crawford, who's 36 years old and finally had a mega fight, you know, that's what's wrong with boxers nowadays, in my opinion. Can't wait until you're damn near 40.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I respect the guy Ryan that at 24 decided to fight, you know, Tank, who at 29, 30 finally had a a name fight. That's why I respect Devin Haney right now. You know, he just fought Lomachenko, and now he's fighting Richard Prograrius. You know, so it's like those kinds of fighters that their stock is gonna rise, their social numbers are gonna rise because you're fighting big name guys that are gonna give you more attention. And if you win, boom, you're gonna keep rising. So that's what these fighters have to do. You know, the same way YouTubers entertain and they get clout and doing X things. These fighters will get more attention. They will get more followers. They will get more exposure. They keep fighting bigger and bigger name guys. But if they're just, just not fighting each other, then they're gonna end up like Boo Boo. You know. So again, shout out to David Navides, who fought a great fight earlier this year, and now he's fighting another name fight. So it's those guys that we support, and we're gonna shoot them to the moon.
Yeah, and look, we're speaking as consumers, Chris. At the end of the day, we're the ones consuming boxing. We're the ones who are viewing these fights, right? Views, following these guys, paying for a ticket or paying for a pay-per-view. So we're telling you what we want to see. We just want to see the best fights. That's all. It's not that difficult. We don't want to see Joe Blow against Jose Gonzalez. I don't give a fuck. I'm not paying for that. If I don't want to see it, I'm not paying for it. I want to see the best fights, and we're more than happy to pay if we think the fight is going to be good, entertaining, meaningful. If you're just fighting a nobody, I might watch it on TV if I'm free that Saturday night. But if I'm not going to go out of my way to watch a fight that I don't care about.
Right. Like you're gonna watch Usyk versus Tyson Fury, but you're not gonna watch Tyson versus MMA guy.
There you go.
If
we don't care about it, we're not watching.
Watch the highlights, and then I take my money. I'll give him my money for Usyk, Tyson Fury. 6 out of 7 days and twice on Sunday, bro. So again, you gotta give us the fights that we want. Keep winning, and that's it, man. That's it. Be entertaining.
Yeah,
Usyk and Tyson are probably some of the most entertaining boxers, in my opinion. These guys just know how to, sell themselves. So, yeah, that's all we need, man.
Hey, look, all I know is if I'm watching a basketball game and the Lakers against Celtics is on, and on another channel, it's like I don't know, what do they call the Hornets nowadays, or the Bobcats? The Hornets against the worst team in the West. Guess which one I'm watching? I'm watching the good teams. I don't care about those bottom teams, man. I don't care about the teams that are no good. We want to watch the best in any sport. I don't care what it is, and there's boxing every weekend. There's competition every weekend. Like I said, there was fights on ESPN, on Showtime last weekend. If they're both good, we'll watch both. If one of them is then we'll watch the other one. It's not that difficult as consumers. We just want to watch the best against the best.
Exactly. I would say take a note from the YouTubers, take a note from the wrestlers, from the WWE when it comes to entertainment. Hey, take a note. Like that's you're in school. You're not just you're not just learning how to box. You also have to learn how to sell yourself. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
12 months. It's gonna be a lot of movement.
Didn't who was it, like Jake Paul or someone who entered the arena in a tank, in a war tank?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Come on, man, that's entertainment right there. Even if I don't care about the fight, I'm watching that clip and I'm like, damn, that's kind of hard. Dude, enter the arena in a war tank. That's crazy. It gets people talking. It gets the views. But yeah, people step it up, man. Step it up.
I'm like, Tio, ¿quién tiene un caballo, man? I gotta be on ESPN next month, man. I need to stand out, you know?
Do something,
Again,
man.
do you remember when PBC had all those champions when they were first promoting like all their fighters on Fox? Who was like one guy that stood out? If you remember.
When there were those fights on Fox?
Yeah, when everybody was all suited up, everybody looked dapper, they looked good. But who was the one guy that said, "Man, I don't care about these guys"?
Oh, was it AB?
Yeah,
I remember that now.
It's entertaining.
Yep.
Talk smack, be different, you know.
And look,
Something different.
we understand you guys are professional boxers, not professional clowns, right? We're not asking you to do something crazy, but look, if you're not entertaining outside the ring, you better be knocking everybody out. You know, look at Triple G. The guy didn't speak English. Guess what he did, though? He entertained us. He was knocking everybody out. He wasn't with that clown shit, but he was knocking everybody out, man. So if you're not fun, if you're not entertaining, you better get the job done in the ring, man. That's all we ask for as boxing fans, but, you know, not everybody has it like that. Just don't expect to get paid millions, you know, to put on average performances. As Big Bro was saying, PBC was overpaying all these guys for years and years, you know, which is a fact. A lot of guys overpaid, you know, 500 people in the arena. I wonder how much money Sean Porter made for that fight against Ugas. There was 500 people there at the StubHub, Chris. Crazy. If he made $1 million, oh, man, what a robbery. 500 tickets sold, man. That's crazy.
I would love to know those figures, man. What the formula, how that works, man. But I'm gonna have to do some more research on that. But yeah, man. Again, you gotta put people in seats, man. That's the name of the game. You have to win the crowd.
Chris,
how do you win the crowd? You gotta put them in their seats first. What's up?
It was 500 with the whole camera crew, with the staff, with the fighters, with the teams.
With us there?
Not fans. It was 500 people in there. There's probably like 50 securities. Yeah, it was bad. But anyway, Jesus says, are you guys going to Rocha versus Santillan? Yes, I will be there this weekend. He also says, impossible to KO everybody unless you're fighting guys off the streets. I don't know, man. There's a guy called Arthur Beterbiev. But, you know, of course, those guys are anomalies, but, you know, it's doable. You better at least hurt somebody, man. We like violence. Like violence. And look, this is coming from hardcore boxing fans. You know, if it's not a high-profile fight, I don't want to watch Imagine Mayweather wasn't Mayweather and Judah wasn't Judah. Like, most people will not watch that fight, let me tell you. That's just pure boxing. Not a lot of punching power. That fight actually had a brawl, but that's what we remember it for, you know. But it's very hard to you know, sell or market a guy like Rigondeaux, who's a great boxer, but not very entertaining, you know.
Yeah. Like you don't. For me, you don't have to knock out every single guy, but you do have to win. If you do lose, lose, you know.
Yeah.
Going now, don't just bust a Charlo and just you know, roll over.
Look at Brian Mendoza. Brian Mendoza got all the props in the world because of how he lost.
Right.
Ruben, was his name Ruben Villa from Ecuador? Excuse me. He lost to Boots. Got destroyed, man. But he took big punches and he kept fighting. And I know a lot of people became fans of him, even losing the fight, you know?
Yeah, I know you're not a huge fan of Rollies, but Rollies, at least he's entertaining. He fights.
Talk some shit. Talk some shit,
but he
man.
talks shit and it's entertaining. So it's like...
Call somebody out.
Like, Mayweather didn't have all that power, but he liked to antagonize, and he played the villain role to the T, and he knew you would pay to see him lose. So again, you just you gotta find what works for you in an entertaining way. That's it. So it is what it is.
You can have an
You see the picture behind me, Gio? see the picture behind me, you pick a guy. You're gonna be the good guy, be the good guy. You're gonna be the bad guy, be great at being the villain.
You're gonna be Goku
So-
or you're gonna be Vegeta. I'm just saying. But let me tell you this: Goku beat everybody, though. Goku beat everybody. You can have an entertaining, flashy style like Loma or Venado or Vaquero. Yeah, entertaining. Those guys are different in the ring. You know, they take risks. You know, that's what makes it exciting, man. That's what makes it exciting.
Hey.
Vegeta,
All right, so what else you got?
Vegeta all day,
box?
says Big Bro.
What do you say?
Vegeta all day, says Big Bro. All right.
I know he would like that.
All right, let's see. That's all I got in regards to, you know, last weekend and Showtime and all that. You know, we do have some action this Saturday, Chris. I know Jesus mentioned it. Rocha Santillan, of course, right hook Roxy will be making her pro debut there on that Golden Boy card. The Forum in Inglewood, the historic Forum, the Zone. If you guys don't make it out there, if you guys don't buy your tickets, you know, you can watch it live on the Zone. Right hook Roxy pro debut, highly anticipated. Coach G staying busy. You know, another fight. We'll be out there, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting card for sure.
Yeah, again, it's she's probably one of the most marketable female fighters out there, and you know, if Golden Boy does it right, they can bring her up nicely. Again, she has a lot of power. You know, it's her debut. It's gonna be a lot of people out there. She's got a good number of followers on her Instagram. She's, you know, well known in the area. So again, she's getting backed up by the machine that is Golden Boy. We'll see what happens throughout her career. But yeah, big debut, big moment for her, big moment for Coach G. Again, their goal is for her to be a champ one day. She obviously, you know, is right there with Yoka, world champion. So a lot of narratives there. But yeah, I can't wait for this one, Gio. It's gonna be a great fight.
100%. And look, let's go ahead and read that whole card. Like I said, that's October 21st, Inglewood, California, The Zone. Alexis Rocha against Giovanni Santillan. That should be an exciting fight. Welterweights. Jojo Diaz is fighting on that card as well against Richard Medina. 10 rounds. Liana Verduzco, right hook Roxy, pro debut. So yeah, that's a good card there. Golden Boy, The Zone. We also got some action from Liverpool, England. Jack Catterall against Jorge Linares, a fight that has kind of flown under the radar. You know, Linares a little older. You know, this fight is at 140. I don't think that's the best weight class for him, but he comes to fight. He's another guy who has all the respect in the world from the boxing fans because he comes to fight regardless of, you know, whether he's down, up, who he's fighting. Always exciting, Jorge Linares. So that's also going down on The Zone. Liverpool, England. So it'll probably be afternoon for us, 2 p.m. maybe here on the West Coast. We also have some action next weekend. Amanda Serrano's fighting from Florida, The Zone. Your boy Tyson is fighting MMA guy October 28th. That's on ESPN pay-per-view. In Saudi Arabia, Oshaki Foster is fighting in Cancun, Mexico. If you guys remember, he's the gentleman who defeated Ray Vargas. He will be fighting for a title, actually. It says Fernandez WBC junior lightweight title. And then that's October, November. We also have some good action. So Bril Matias is fighting on the 4th. Joe Cordina is fighting on the 4th, live from Wales. Takuma Inoue against Jerwin Ancajas. November 15, ESPN Tokyo. Shakur Stevenson against Edwin de los Santos. November 16th, Vegas, ESPN. And of course, Navarrete is also on the undercard against Conceição. Diego Pacheco, November 18th. In LA, The Zone. A lot of good action, Chris. A lot of good action. David Benavidez, of course, that's official now against Demetrius Andrade. Showtime pay-per-view. That's on the 25th. And it seems like the Matias fight is now on the undercard. I think they postponed it. And then I'll go quickly through December. I know I'm going fast through these, but don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. San Antonio, Texas, the zone. Ryan Garcia against Oscar Duarte, December 2nd. Following weekend, also on the zone, San Francisco, California. Regis Prograis against Devin Haney. He'll be defending his belt against Haney. Weekend after that, also on the zone, Glendale, Arizona. Jesse Bam Rodriguez against Sonny Edwards. And that pretty much rounds up the month and the year of 2023, Chris.
Oh, I'm excited for that Benavidez. Mostly because of Benavidez. I'm excited for Prograrius versus Devin. These are two guys that I have them kind of similar right now, like in terms of fighter of the year. Right now, I still have Terrence Crawford up. But if you fight two guys, two name guys like Devin Haney and David Benavidez are doing, man, they have a case for, usurping, for fighter of the year. I still haven't forgotten about and anyway, if anyone decides to fight at the end of the year and unify and again, this is a good problem to have, Gio. Fighter of the year where you don't know who it is, that's what I'm looking forward at the end of the year. And again, Usyk versus Tyson Fury, man. That was the thing I said. Like 3 months ago, I was like, that's all we need for the heavyweights, like a big heavyweight fight for it to be the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. I didn't think we were gonna get it. We get it. Oh my dude, I'm excited, man. Again, this has been like we've been spoiled this year.
100%. And look, what do you think about? I know Regis and Devin have kicked off the promotion for the fight. What do you think about that? I think what stood out to me was Devin Haney's size. I mean, we obviously mentioned that against Loma. He's a lot bigger than Loma. Most of us thought Loma won the fight, but if you look at him now at 140, he's taller than Regis. We'll see if he can have some type of power at 140. But a lot of trash talking. These guys, they're trying to sell the fight. They're trying to sell the fight at the end of the day, so I'm not mad at it. And there's a lot of back and forth. Regis brought up the fact that, the rumors of Haney with the Mexico fight. Chris, that's something we had talked about on this podcast already, right? There's something we had mentioned. There's something we had heard in the boxing circles. But what are your whole thoughts on the whole promotion so far and the fight itself, December 9th? The Zone, San Francisco.
Yeah, no, first of all, I was shocked when they announced that Devin was going to fight Regis. I'm like, he just got done, finding one of the best. Now you're jumping in like one division higher. Obviously, his body has already gotten used to that 140, in my opinion. But I'm like, you're fighting, like, in my opinion, the very best at 140, like right now, So, yeah, to me, first of all, I give him props for that. Second, the trash talk, like we just mentioned, hey, I'm here for it. I like that kind of entertainment factor where you're both, they both believe in themselves, so they're talking smack. And again, these are two of the very best at 135, 140. So I'm excited for that one, man. Again, Regis has been looking, great, since that loss to Taylor. He's been looking better than I've ever seen him before. So again, I think these guys are gonna come with nothing but momentum, with nothing but belief. Two different styles. One's more of a boxer, the other is more of a power puncher. So I'm excited for this one, Gio.
Yeah, 100%. And let me add controversial loss to Josh Taylor. That was a back and forth war. That was close. So, Regis could easily be undefeated, But, yeah, this is a good fight. You say Regis to you is the best at 140. Would you rank him over Teofimo, who defeated Josh Taylor? To me, it's close. Yeah. Obviously, Teofimo, quote-unquote, retiring. So, of course, you'd have to say Regis. But let's say Teofimo was in the mix. Would you still rank Regis Prograis as the number one fighter at 140, and why?
I knew that question was coming. I was the one that said that Teofimo looked sensational. He impressed the hell out of me with what he did to Josh Taylor. I just don't want to get, caught up and be a prisoner of the moment. Even though I want to skyrocket him to the top, I'm like, I got to respect what Regis has been doing at that 140. He's been there longer. You can't just, put a guy over with one fight, even though he did it against the man at that time. But I do say that Josh Taylor was the shell of his former self. So, until Teofimo proves it with another guy at 140, I gotta keep Prograrius up there, man, the number one position, Gio. What do you think?
Rugaru. Bro, that chant in that arena in New Orleans, that was great. It was kind of scary. That was a fight against Danielito Zorrilla. All you heard was Rugaru, Rugaru. And look, that was a tough fight against Danielito. And then before that, he had a tough fight against Jose Chon Cepeda. So 2 top opponents there at 140. So, to me, I think it's debatable. I don't think there's a clear number one guy at 140. But of course, Regis, this is a big fight for him. I hope we see him at his best. He's a good boxer, good puncher. And he definitely has a case for the number one guy at 140. We still have a couple months to go until that fight, and I'm sure the trash talk will get more and more intense, and we'll be talking about it. But, hey, like you said, as boxing fans, we're all for it. Gets us excited about the fight. I believe it's pay-per-view, right?
I believe so. It has to be.
I believe it's pay-per-view. So, hey, if you were to ask me right now, are you buying it or are you not buying it? I'm probably 70-30 that I am buying it. I think it's going to be a very good fight. Hopefully they stack that undercard, but it's a good, very good fight at 140, and I think whoever wins, I think Teofimo is going to be out there, and there's a lot of names at 140, so more and more exciting fights to come in that weight division. But Chris, that's all I got for now. I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything else, but go ahead.
I was gonna say before we get out of here, you gotta shout out to our boy Arnold Barbosa, because even though I said Regis is number one, Arnold is right there flirting with that number 2, 3, 4, 5th position in my opinion. And he just got, I think he just terminated his contract, so now he's not tied. He's able to kind of be his own agent the way Mikey was able to do. So hoping that he's able to get those fights. He might have to take a pay cut, just to get the fight. But I think he believes in his abilities enough the way Devin Haney believed in himself when he went overseas to fight in Australia. So, hopefully our boy Arnold Barbosa was able to make some noise. Not going to be easy. 140 is getting loaded. Teofimo, who a year ago we thought he was not going to be able to, be who he was when he was the takeover. He's looking sensational now. So again, the 140 division is gonna get nice, man. It's gonna get nice, and hopefully our boy Arnold Barbosa is able to make some noise there in the coming year.
100%. And then one thing I must add to this guy right here, the epilogue came out of the Canelo fight and Charlo. I think it's about 20-something minutes. If you guys are interested in watching that, I thought it was good. They showed, all the action before the fight in the dressing rooms, and then during the fight and after the fight as well. Very interesting, when you get to see the behind the scenes things, and Charlo just never looked confident in himself, but I thought that was interesting. If you guys want to catch that, the epilogue of Canelo versus Charlo, a couple weeks removed now. And look, that's Showtime. That's that's Showtime. We might maybe get 1 or 2 more of those epilogues from Showtime.
Yeah, no, that's something I noticed too. It was really telling. Like I think the coach even said it at one time. He said all these things to motivate him, and then he throws him, "You're gonna get paid,
Chris."
I was like, man, he just came for the check at this point.
Derek James asked Charlo, "Do you want to be a punching bag?" In the middle of the fight, he said, "You're losing. Do you want to be a punching bag?" And Charlo said, "No." I said, "No." He said, "Well, you got to do something because you're losing." I was like, "Oh man, crazy." Crazy.
Derek taking 2 L's, man. He's taking 2 L's. It's not his year, man. It's everybody else's year except his and Showtime. So
you know what other part of this epilogue caught my attention. At the end of the fight, after the fight, in Charlo's dressing room, he was talking about, he started tearing up and he was disappointed. He was telling his team, thank you. He's like, man, I'm sorry. I feel bad right now. Maybe once I get some tequila in me, I'll feel better. I was like, oh, man, come on. Come on, man. In front of the cameras, in front of the mics. This guy said, maybe when I get some tequila in me. Oh, man. I was like, get this guy out of here, man. He never had a chance.
This kitty out of here. Hey, man. We're yet to have a MVP, man. We're yet to chew him out, for telling us that we're sleeping on these guys. But
hey, I'm going to call Frankie Charlo out. Just like Tszyu called out Charlo after the fight. Where are you, Frankie? Come on the show, Frankie. We need you here on these mics.
Exactly. Hey, man, hey.
Cubs only, says Big Bro.
For real. Canelo's a big boy, man. He's a heavy boy. He's a heavy boy, so there's not much you could.
Canelo, who's back in training. There was some footage already of him. He was on the treadmill. He's doing some distance running, so we'll see. He's staying active. But yeah, Chris, that's all I got, man. If you guys are new to the channel, of course, like as always, make sure to sub. Follow us at againstdaropes, against the ropes on Instagram, Twitter /X, Facebook, and Threads. If that app is still up and running, you guys can follow us on that app. But yeah, man, that's all I got.
And be sure to drop some comments on the videos that we post next week. I'm gonna give up my Friday to go interview Joel Diaz and see if he's got any scoops on B-Ball. What are his thoughts on Canelo training already so soon? Is there some stuff that he knows that we don't know? So I'm gonna give up my Friday night, guys, to go interview. And so y'all better leave some comments, share those videos, and yeah, man, just keep supporting. We appreciate it.
100%, and we'll be out there as well this Saturday at that Golden Boy card OC. Hopefully try to catch everybody out there, get some interviews too. As we mentioned, Right Hook Roxy's highly anticipated pro debut. And we got to set up a podcast, Chris. Of course, we had our boy Alan, get that big fight on ESPN. So he wants to hop back on. We got to make it happen. Hopefully in the weeks to come. We know Yokasa's fighting in November as well, so they're staying busy out there. We'll have to try to catch them when they're not as busy. But yeah, man, a lot of stuff coming, a lot of videos coming, a lot of interviews, behind the scenes stuff. So man, just stay in tune to that community tab and all the new uploads and all that good stuff, man. But once again, thank you guys for hopping on. Thank you guys for keeping that chat lit. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back soon, man. Still a lot of action coming up this Saturday.
Thank you guys again for all that support. Showtime may be out, but boxing's never out. Thank you guys for keeping supporting boxing. And again, it ain't over, man. It's just a bump. Let's go.
Let's go, mates. Let's go, mates.
Just taking a knee right now. Just taking a knee. Shosan got knocked out.
Long count, as the Deontay Wilder fans would say. Let's go, mates. You dosas.
Dosas.
Michael, you already know I'm a fun guy.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Echenle muchas ganas, un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great